Gypsy's double life.
After she discovered social media in 2009. According to one police warrant, beginning in 2009, Gypsy had 5 email addresses associated with different Facebook accounts that she created. They included fake profile names like Emma Rose and Devonna Wolf and Snow Gypsy, where she reportedly liked pictures of sadomasochism. In fact, one anonymous source, who was interviewed just days after the murder, told authorities a couple of years before she met Nick Godejohn, Gypsy was quite active on Facebook, where she propositioned older men in their 30s and 40s. These older men were part of a group in Springfield, Missouri that attended CosPlay Sci-Fi Conventions. The source revealed, quote, Gypsy hit on other men in the group via Facebook, men in their 30s and 40s. They may not feel comfortable coming forward. I know they rebuffed her, but still, end quote. Around 2010, Gypsy first encountered a man named Dan Glidewell on Facebook. He was associated with these sci-fi conventions, and she befriended him. Gypsy was 19 or 20, and Glidewell was in his 30s. According to Glidewell's friend and roommate, Gypsy fixated on him rather hard. During one convention, Gypsy ran off with an older man, possibly Glidewell, to his hotel room. Dee Dee, along with their friends at the convention, went in search for Gypsy. They found her in this hotel room, quote, getting ready to be intimate, end quote. Dee Dee was so mortified and utterly embarrassed by her behavior, she made Gypsy apologize to everyone who had been searching for her. A few weeks later, Gypsy showed up without her wheelchair at a neighbor's door, begging them to give her a ride to Mercy Hospital, where Gypsy claimed her boyfriend, Dan Glidewell, was a patient who had gotten badly beaten up. It wasn't until after Dee Dee's death did the neighbors see Gypsy on the local news and realize she was the strange girl in the wig that showed up on their doorstep. This is the infamous event where Gypsy goes back to Dan Glidewell's place and Dee Dee shows up. According to Dan's roommate, he wasn't really into Gypsy. In fact, Dan was literally shocked Gypsy showed up at the hospital. Gypsy insisted on accompanying Dan back to his place, attempting to insert herself into his life. Dee Dee shows up and Gypsy screams and yells at her. Dee Dee screams and yells. However, Gypsy returns home with her mom. When Dan, who was married, made it clear he would not be taking Gypsy to live with him in Arkansas, she became enraged, later telling her close friend and neighbor, Aaliyah Woodmansey, quote, "Can I tell you a secret? Back in 2011, I ran away from home. I met a pedophile online. He took me back to his friend's house and made me sleep in his bed, but when he got handsy, I freaked out," end quote. When Dee Dee had confronted Dan at his house, she called him a pedophile, lying about Gypsy's age, saying she was only 15 years old. Gypsy was actually 19 at the time. It appears Gypsy adopted this lie after Dan refused to become her knight in shining armor. By all accounts, after 2010, Gypsy had become obsessed with social media as a means to make contact with men. Dan Glidewell has testified to her penchant for BDSM role-playing that she introduced him to.
From KY3 News. Greene County judge deciding motion in Nicholas Godejohn's attempt for new trial. Godejohn was convicted to first-degree murder for stabbing Dee Dee Blanchard. At 3:24 p.m., the defense attorney calls Daniel Glidewell. He met Gypsy at a convention. Glidewell kept in contact with Gypsy via video chat. He says that Gypsy told him her mother made her stay in a wheelchair and had unnecessary medical treatment. He says that their relationship developed from friendship to a sexual relationship. They would send explicit videos to each other. He discusses how they role-played occasionally. He referred to Gypsy as being shy and timid. He says he developed a taste of power exchange role-playing from her. He says she would send nude photos, dress up in costumes, and use various fictitious names. Glidewell says he was injured and that Gypsy visited him while he was in the hospital. She told him she wanted to go to Arkansas to restart her life. From In Touch. Forget the act. Gypsy Rose Blanchard's loved ones are working their own show by proxy. The three women who were working on producing the program by proxy were Christy Blanchard, Fancy McKelly and MJ Pack. MJ Pack wrote articles online from when the Gypsy Rose case started until shortly after her arrest. Her articles are found at Thought Catalog. Thought Catalog on D.D. Blanchard's murder written by MJ Pack. As you scroll down you find proof that Nicholas Godejohn and Gypsy Rose were involved in a Facebook group called DDLG Little Safe Playground. DDLG stands for Daddy Dom / Little Girl. DDLG stands for Daddy Dom / Little Girl. DDLG, or DD/LG, is an acronym for Daddy Dom / Little Girl, a sexual relationship where the dominant male is the daddy figure and a woman plays the role of a young girl. Did Gypsy get paid by the men she would role-play with online? Was she making money being an online prostitute? According to Oxygen.com, Nicholas Godejohn bought Gypsy Rose during one of his BDSM fantasies. From Oxygen True Crime. Nicholas Godejohn bought Gypsy Rose during one of his BDSM fantasies. About a year into their relationship, they started talking both marriage and BDSM fantasies. Their conversations, which first revolved around love and marriage, but took a more sexual turn, as Nick began to open up about his own desires, Pack explained on Killer Couples. According to those interviewed, Nicholas wanted to be Gypsy's master. The pair would exchange videos back and forth, and everything that Gypsy did in the videos was upon Godejohn's orders, according to those interviewed for the show. "I am embracing my role and duties," Gypsy wrote on a secret Facebook account, in a post that Pack showed to Oxygen. "I am learning more about myself, I am confident and fulfilled. I live and breathe to serve my master." It went further, too. He had actually sent her a bill of sale that would essentially make Gypsy his property, Assistant Greene County Prosecutor Nathan Chapman said on Killer Couples. A bill of sale is typically a document that transfers the ownership of goods from one person to another. In addition to and intertwined with all the BDSM talk, were the various personalities the pair made up. Each personality was a different side of them. Gypsy had Rose, the most mature form of Gypsy, Nicholas Godejohn told Killer Couples, and Bella, her romantic side. There was also Kitty, which he described as basically like the little girl inside her. Gypsy's more sexualized side, conversely, was called Candy. The best way to describe that part of her was just, basically, her slutty part, that would probably be best in with my sexual part of me, Godejohn told the producers of Killer Couples. Meanwhile, Gypsy's evil side, Godejohn said, was named Ruby. She was the counterpart to his evil side, Victor, a 500-year-old vampire. In the end, Gypsy asked Victor to kill her mother for her. Godejohn's alter ego accepted. The following clip from Becca Scoops proves that DD knew all about Gypsy's role play online. Gypsy had sent inappropriate pictures and statements in a Facebook group she made for her dad, stepmom Christy and her half-siblings who were young kids at the time. Did DD approve of Gypsy's role play as another form of revenue? How did Gypsy get all those wigs and lingerie unless her mom had known?
2011, when Gypsy was 20 years old, she allegedly posted nasty comments about her father Rod, blaming him for her so-called illnesses and being a deadbeat dad on social media. She also sent inappropriate pics from one of her secret sexualized Facebook accounts that wound up directed at Rod, his wife Christy, and their kids Mia and Dylan. When Christy confronted Dee Dee about these disturbing posts and inappropriate pics, Dee Dee blatantly lied for Gypsy and blamed the post and pics on their neighbor Aaliyah Woodmansey, who had kindly befriended Gypsy. Here is Dee Dee once again overindulging Gypsy, being toxically overprotective of her daughter. Dee Dee wrote to Christy, "When I saw that filth, I deleted that disgusting Facebook and took Gyp's computer away. I fussed for 2 straight days. My doctor had to increase my heart meds. I did not read everything, but what I did made me sick. Please explain to little Mia that whatever was written was not her sister, but a mean person named Aaliyah." Dee Dee continued, "Gyp told me Aaliyah helped her like her nurse helps her. She has trouble reading and writing and can't see well, so she needs help. I called that Slatten's mom and her to come over, and Aaliyah admitted everything." Dee Dee continues with the bald-faced lie. "I told her we are going to call our family and her true friends and talk to them and explain, and if anyone knows Gyp, they know that that is not how she is." Trying to explain Gypsy's hypersexualized content, Dee Dee wrote, "As far as a boyfriend, Gyp has never had one and doesn't want one and doesn't think that way. She still wants to be a nun when she grows up, and we are always together. The only men here are the medical equipment delivery, pharmacy delivery, and diaper delivery, and I have to sign for them." This would become a major theme in Gypsy's life. It's never her fault, and it stems from her upbringing. Dee Dee lying so profusely and slandering their teenage neighbor Aaliyah Woodmansey taught Gypsy this is how we get out of things.
What do you think? If Dee Dee knew about the role-playing all along, then why didn't she put a stop to it? The Facebook page to her dad was in 2011 when Gypsy was 20 years old. This picture was taken in 2015, just 2 weeks before Dee Dee's demise. Gypsy was 23 years old.